Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai. That's in the ancient Hebrew tongue for bless you Yahweh, bless you Yahushai, bless you Yahweh, bless you Yahushai, bless you Yahweh. In the name Yahushai, Yahweh being the Most High God, Yahushai being the Son of God, the true name of the Most High God, and the true name of the Son of the Most High. Which this video is going to be concerning the deliverance of Israel from the four corners of the earth. Right, that's the brother Ahab Kassad. And I'm going to start this lesson off with the book of Psalm chapter 57, verse 2. It says, I will cry unto the Most High that performeth all things for me. It says, he shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that will swallow me up. Yeah, that's concerning, the deliverance of Israel from the four corners of the earth. Because when Jacob's troubles or that great tribulation take place under the sun, the Lord is going to send forth his angels or send help from the heavens to recover, if you will, the outcasts of Israel, to assemble the outcasts of Israel by way of these chariots, by way of the so-called UFOs that the world, speaks about. That if you don't know, these UFOs, these so-called UFOs that the world say are chariots, are vehicles of angels. Right, that's why there has been reports of unidentified flying objects lately, more recently, right? Because the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom. It's looking upon the sinful kingdom, man. Which the eyes of the Lord are these angels. Well, let's get this. Let's get the book of Amos. Amos chapter 9, verse 8, it says, behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom. Yeah, that's why there's been reports of unidentified flying objects more lately. Right, it says, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. Now these flying objects, these chariots, will be used to thresh, to beat down the sinful kingdom, to destroy. It says, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. Jacob is you black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and of the rest of the 12 tribes of Israel. Now this is a prophecy concerning the last days, concerning the assembling or the deliverance of Israel. Those who worship Yahweh, the Most High, and Yahushai, the Son of God. Those who are seeking, the tender mercies of the Lord. Those who have come back, the remnant that have come back to the Lord. Right? It says, go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 12, verse 12. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12. It says, and he shall set up a sign for the nations. Well, when you go into the word a sign, it's a banner. And the Lord is our banner. Right, the Lord is our banner. So this word is being set up. This word is being published. Like it says in the book of Matthew chapter 24, this gospel, loosely paraphrasing, the gospel of the kingdom must be preached amongst the nations. Or this gospel will be, Mark, in the book of Mark, this gospel will be published amongst the nations, loosely paraphrasing. Right, so this banner, this flag, this is a sign that's being set up so that the remnant of Israel will come back and be exalted, come back and be, learned, or, increase in learning in its truth. Come back and receive this knowledge, the knowledge of Yahweh Shai and Mashiach, which will ultimately will bring the end. Once this gospel is being preached, once this gospel is being published, it says, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. Now this is concerning the 1/3 of the Israelites, of you Black, Hispanic, Native Indians that did come back and seek the Lord, that did come back and worship the Lord, right? That departed from idols and wickedness and came to righteousness. Right, it says, and gathered together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. And the Lord will gather together the dispersed of Judah by way of these chariots, by way of the so-called UFOs, flying objects that's being reported, that's been reported in history, in the past, and that's reported, in the present. It says, from the four corners of the earth. Yeah, because the Lord have, scattered, Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, to the four corners of the earth. Right, so let me get the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, although I have cast them afar off, from the let me read it again. It says, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and that's proof unto what I said. The Lord scatters, amongst the other nations, amongst the four corners of the world. It says, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. And yeah, this is, this is a part of it, right? There's a remnant seeking after that sign, this word, this truth, this knowledge. And a sanctuary, if I'm not mistaken, it's a safe haven, if you will. And we are safe in its truth. Right, but the Lord will come and gather us, assemble us by way of these chariots. And we will be, protected under the wings of the Most High, under the wings of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It says, verse 17, therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, I will even gather you from the people. Now, how will the Lord will gather the remnant? By way of these chariots, by way of the so-called flying objects that has been reported in past time. It says, and assemble you out of the countries where ye have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. Right? Going to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 5. It says, behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days. So the Lord said, I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. Right, so this work is going, be unbelievable. These are the things that we saw in movies, the things that, we heard in stories. When people hear this truth, they think it's a fairy tale, a fable. but they will soon realize that there are something called, chariots. There are, vehicles of angels that the world will call, UFOs. That these reports are true, or at least, some of them. Right, that these prophecies will soon come to pass. Right, but it will be in an unbelievable work. Though it will really happen. Right. It says, "Behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you." Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. Right, going to the book of Amos chapter 9, verse 9, it says, matter of fact, verse 8, it says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, save the Lord." It says, "For lo," verse 9, "For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations." Sifting means to separate, to somewhat gather, assemble, right? Let me get this real quick. Let's get the book of 2 Chronicles. Salakia, bear with me. Salakia, not 2 Chronicles, but Second Kings chapter 2, verse 11. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11, it says, "And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder." So these chariots, separated, Elijah from Elisha. So a chariot, which what the world will call a UFO, came and took hold of, a man which was a prophet, and parted asunder, meaning to separate Elisha from the earth. Right, it says, "And parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven." So Elijah was gone. Right, he was assembled by way of a chariot. Right, you see in movies, these so-called UFOs will basically beam up a man and gather him or assemble him into this vehicle in this UFO. Or that's something that will take place in the last days. Because Esau Edom, his heart is deep. He saw out the secrets of the world, which Esau Edom, he knows about this. He knows about UFOs, which he will put in movies, put in stories, put in books, put in literature. Right, put it in just make it seem like a fable, if you will. They tell you that in the book of Psalms that this man, bear with me, in the book of Psalms, let me pull it out real quick. Right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 6. It says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. So Esau, Edom, he have read the scriptures before. He had read this precept that I brought out. Right, so he knows by searching, he knows that, about these things. Right, it says, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. And he knows, man. Right, but going back to the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2, verse 12, verse 11, it says, a chariot of fire and horses of fire parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof, and he saw him no more. So this man disappeared. It says, and he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. Right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Right, so these are vehicles of the angels, not aliens, not vehicles of aliens, man, but vehicles of angels, of powers, man. Right.